Is this war going to be the major catalyst in a black swan event that could dump the price of Bitcoin all the way back down to the $20,000 level? Or could we even expect that this is going to fuel the next pump for Bitcoin and we're going to break this major resistance? We're going to look at some historical data, what we could expect during these times of war. But most importantly, we're going to look at the charts and also the facts. So if you want to find out more, watch the video until the end and smash up the like button. And first of all, my condolence goes out to everybody who's involved within this war. My heart definitely goes out to you, and let us all stand together as one. So we're going to start directly with the historical data, the 10 years of stock market returns following the breakout of US involved wars. So we can see that each and every time the US is involved in a major war, that this is actually quite positive for the stock market, because this would mean that the Federal Reserve needs to print money. They can't go on with interest rate hikes, so we could expect quantitative easing, the printing of money, stimulating the markets during these times. So overall, this is what we could expect, and we can also see that gold and Bitcoin tends to go up because these are risk-on assets which are used as a safe haven, because we all know that gold is a safe haven to secure your wealth, and Bitcoin would be the digital gold. So yes, during the times of war, we could expect that the markets tend to go up, but don't get it twisted. Does it mean that the markets will go up right away? No, definitely not. We are first going to see a shock in the market, so a major dump, but then we could expect that the markets will recover very quick if we're going to see that the rate hikes or even the CPI is going to turn out better than expected. And talking about CPI, important events to focus on within this week. Tomorrow we're going to get the release of the PPI, the Producer Price Index. On Wednesday, the Fed meeting minutes, and on Thursday, the CPI inflation numbers. And on Thursday, we can see the jobless claim data. So yes, this week is going to bring some major volatility. But guys, I want to show you some very important facts, because if we go over to this chart, because yes, we are 180 days away from the next major halvening. So what does it mean, the Bitcoin halvening? The Bitcoin halvening occurs every 4 years, and the block reward for the miners is going to be cut in half. So this means that the miners will receive less for the blocks that they're mining for the network. So if we go back 180 days before the halvening in the year 2020, we can see we were 60% down from the all-time high, and in the year 2015, exactly 180 days before the halvening, we were minus 65%, and at the moment the current rate is minus 61. So we can see that history doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. So does it mean that Bitcoin is going to turn around exactly here? No, definitely not, because in the year 2019, we can see we had this major black swan event where the price of Bitcoin came all the way back down to the $3,000 level during the COVID crisis. But in the year 2015, we can see that from this time on, we saw that Bitcoin had this pre-halvening run, and towards the halvening, we had a small dump, and then we started with this parabolic run. And in the year 2018, we can see that we started with this bullish parabolic run at the halvening. So guys, yes, is this war going to cause a major dump within the markets, and could we expect that this war is going to be the black swan event, or is Bitcoin actually going to profit from these war times? Because keep in mind, Bitcoin banks the unbanked, and if we have a major crisis, Bitcoin is really a safe haven, because you can flee a country with all your wealth. Guys, we're going to look at the charts to find out what we could expect within the immediate short term, and we're going to start on the weekly chart, because yes, on the weekly chart we can see that Bitcoin is forming a weekly lower high exactly in these levels, and we had a lower high before. And also in these levels, we can see that Bitcoin is forming lower highs. And that is first of all bearish for the overall trend. We can see it started exactly here over the weekend where we got this news from Israel. So this dump all the way back down. But let's go on the daily chart of Bitcoin to find out which levels is going to be very important. And first of all, yes, we can see we had the sideways move and we stayed within this support box perfectly. As you can see, this support box at the 38.2 Fibonacci retracement level that we've been talking about was perfect support for the price movement of Bitcoin. And at the moment we can see we are at this very important trend line where we can see that Bitcoin bounced off once and also twice at the moment. So yes, this is going to be the line in the sand. If we're going to break this level towards the downside, I could expect that Bitcoin is going to have a first price target at the 23.6 Fibonacci retracement level, which is also this downward sloping trend. And we also have this major support box round about the $26,200 level. So this is going to be my first price target if we're going to break this trend line towards the downside. But guys, this could also be that Bitcoin is just consolidating and that we're going to see this bounce from this trend line and that we're actually going to break this 50% mark. Because yes, at the level of 28,135, we can see some major resistance, and this resistance Bitcoin has to turn to support, and this means we have to break this level, come all the way back up and retest the resistance as support, so that we can be sure that Bitcoin will go up from here. Because definitely if the US is going to print even more money and we're going to go into quantitative easing, the printing of even more money, this would mean that yes, all the risk on asset are going to see a major pump towards the upside. But guys, let's go over to the dollar currency index before we're going to go on the lower time frames for Bitcoin. And guys, remember, if you like this content, smash up the like button because this really helps the algorithm. And for the dollar currency index, we can see yes, we finally broke this major uptrend and we faced some major resistance and got this major rejection exactly at the $107 level. And at the moment we can see that the dollar index is again at this major support box, which was previous resistance, and resistance turns into support. So yes, I could expect that the dollar currency index is first going to get a small retracement, and then we could expect that we're going to come all the way back down, and if we're going to break this major level, I expect that Bitcoin is also going to break this major resistance at the 50% Fibonacci retracement level. But guys, let's go down on the lower time frames on the 4-hour chart, and yes, we were having this trend line that we have been talking about, and we also had this symmetrical triangle where I told you that if we're going to see this breakout, we could go long, but if we're going to get this retracement all the way back down and breakout from the symmetrical triangle, that we could have a price target of yes, the $26,200, which is also going to be my price target if we're going to break this very important trend line on the daily chart. Let me just add it on the 4-hour chart, like so. Because yes, if we're going to lose this level, this would give us the indication that Bitcoin is going to dump all the way back down. And if we're going to break this support, guys, we could expect that Bitcoin is going to reach our price target of the $24,600. So first of all, this is going to be my worst case scenario if we're going to break this very important trend line on the daily chart. So yes, at the moment it looks quite bearish with all this major bearish news, but overall guys, if we look at the charts, then we are still in this bullish move. And if we're not going to break this trend line, we could expect that Bitcoin is going to consolidate and that we could expect that Bitcoin is going to form a higher high. Because yes, on the daily chart, we are still perfectly holding the 38.2 level. And this is still a higher low, so we are still within this bullish case. But guys, if we're going to break this level, you know my first price target. And guys, I don't think that we're going to go all the way back down underneath the $24,700 level, because if we go over to the weekly chart, yes, this is going to be my first price target if we're going to see this bearish continuation from this lower high on the weekly chart. But overall, my worst case scenario is going to be this red line, the $23,000 level. And why? Because yes, a lot of people are in these areas that are willing to buy Bitcoin exactly in these areas, and so should you. Dollar cost average into Bitcoin. And if you want to buy Bitcoin on the spot market, go down in the video description below and sign up to Bybit, OKX, or even FedEx. So yes guys, on the weekly chart it looks quite bearish, but on the daily chart Bitcoin is still perfectly holding this trend, and until we're not going to break this trend, I'm still going to remain bullish. And guys, yes, please support my channel and smash up the like button and be for crypto, and we see each other in the next video.